Rich from 2RC Productions here. And we got a first snowfall down here. We got a first snowfall in the Midwest, and we're down here, and all of a sudden I take a look out the door, and there's Buddy the Snowman. Look at Buddy the Snowman's hanging out. He want to come out and play. So we got Ryan out there. He's doing a little snow sledding and making snowballs, and Grace is out there sliding down the hill, you can see here. And I'm just going to run this Wheeler King, man. I'm just going to give this Wheeler King a little bit of workout today out in the snow and see what she can do. Snowball.
Hi, buddy.
What's up, YouTubers? Rich from 2RC Productions here. And I'm sitting here looking at the Wild Willy 2. This is my dad's Wild Willy 2. I talked about this a while back. He had left it on Christmas, or actually it was Thanksgiving. He brought it up and he left it. And I told him I'd put some LEDs on it for him. And I'm all done with the mod. I posted on Google Plus about it. I posted some pictures of it. And I want to kind of just go over this unit a little bit. So the Wild Willy 2, I can't say that I've seen many, if any, that had LEDs on it, to be honest. There might be some Willys out there with LEDs, I'm sure there is, but I have not seen them. So I'm not sure how other guys have wired the lights in, but I didn't want to disrupt the front end of this thing too much and take these lights off or drill through them and mess up the grill, because actually the bolts that go through here hold the whole grill assembly together. So then I would have had to take those out and come up with a new way of mounting. And my dad painted all this up and stuff, so I wanted to leave those lights intact. So I was trying to think. I'm looking on the fender, and I'm looking around this thing, trying to think of where I could put the LEDs. So anyway, what I ended up doing was taking some old LED buckets from the Unimog kit that I didn't use, and I trimmed them up and modified them, drilled through the grill, mounted with some, put a couple washers, flat washers with screws, and mounted them to the back of the grill so they're nice and rigid. And then I drilled through the grill in the back for the LED. And I painted the outer housing black. They were all chrome, and left the inside chrome to give it the light some reflection. So anyway, I mounted those two in the center of the grill, and I think it turned out cool. It's not too drastic. It keeps the original style of the vehicle, but then it adds a lot of light in the front of this thing when it's running, and I'll show you that. And I also blacked out the grill all around. This was all green, and just the center was black in between. So I blacked it all out, painted the marker lights orange, and then I went around the whole truck and detailed it out. Like the latches for the hood, I painted those. I painted all the silver bolts. Went back and detailed all those. All the screws on the roll cage, I painted those. In the front, I painted them all green because they were shining, you know, kind of that gold-looking color and silver. So I went over and kind of just did some detail for them all the way around. Painted all these handles or latches, whatever they are, all the way around. And in the back, I also wired 2 LED tail lights in the back. And what I did with these lights is I drilled through and mounted an LED, and then I used some old shock bladders from some oil shocks I had. Basically, they're like the gasket that go on top where you put the cap down and it holds the oil inside, so it's kind of like a gasket. And those work perfect. They slip right over the LED and then glued them to the body, and they look really cool. They look like actual tail lights. And then what I did was inside I mounted an LED down on the floorboard to shine up at Willy to reflect on him when my dad's driving at nighttime. So he kind of lights up. You could see the character when the vehicle's coming at you. And then what I did was I drilled in the back here and I mounted a switch. So right now the vehicle is on. Oh, it was on. Hold on. You turn this on. Okay, now it's on. So the vehicle is on right now. See, we got power. And then all my dad has to do is flip the switch, put the camera down here, flip the switch on the back, and we got LEDs. So they're really, really bright. You can see them shining in the camera. They're bright. It looks cool. Kind of reflects off the front of the winch. Looks neat. And then I'll turn it around here and give you a view of the taillights. And you can see those taillights. Those worked out really well. Gives it a really cool look. And the Willy has just basic decal taillights that are stuck on there. So this adds a pretty cool element to it, I think. And then inside, there's the light. You can see the light on the floorboard shining up at Willy. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull this thing off to the side here in the darkness so you can get a better look at this thing real quick. Go in the hallway here where it's a little darker to give you a better look of it. So you can see they're really bright. And he's going to like it. And then you can see Willy. You can see Willy's face lit up. The light shining on him looks really cool. And then the taillights, you can see how bright they are. So I think he's going to be really happy with it. I'm going to pull off the body here and give you a look at the wiring from underneath. Here is the underneath of the vehicle just to kind of show you how this went. See the LEDs wired back. Got the wires all neatly tucked. I have a plug up here. I wired in a plug here where that can be separated. Whoops. Where that could be separated. And then there's also a plug that's plugging right into the receiver to power this through the switch. So this was a pretty easy install because the switch was already wired up. Normally I wired the switches from scratch. This already had the positive negative going in. Obviously the negative side picks up the switch. The red one's just kind of passing through it. And it already had the connector on the plug-in on the receiver side. And you can see the wiring all neatly tucked. So I think he's going to be happy with it. And I always use the aluminum tape. The aluminum tape works fantastic for tucking wires. And it easily peels off. It doesn't peel off unless you want it to come off. But when you peel it off or you decide to peel it off, it comes off very easily. So all the wires are neatly tucked and out of the way and they don't interfere. So just want to give you a short look of that, of the Willy 2 with the LED lights. I want to take one moment here and thank from RcNewb for recently inviting me on his podcast. We just recorded it last week and it was up this week. Those of you who have not heard it or don't know anything about it, RcNewb is a awesome website. It's also his YouTube channel, Small Scale RC. He's in all kinds of stuff. He's on Twitter and Facebook and all that, Google+. But if you go to RcNewb.com and check out his podcast, he does podcasts all the time. Not many people do the podcast. And it's a really cool setup. And it's just been a blast. It's the third time that I've been on there. And again, I appreciate him inviting me on there. And I urge everyone to check it out. Give it a listen. It's really neat because you don't have to watch anything. You just put it on. You can have it in the background and listen to it. And I believe it's about an hour and 15 minutes. So, you know, every time we get together and Tim and I talk, we end up talking for a long, long time. But we have a great time in it. So, wanted to mention that. And then, you know, a lot of going on with the holidays and stuff like that. Things are going to start settling down in the next couple weeks here. We surpassed our 2,000 subs, which you know. And I am going to be having a 2,000 sub giveaway. So I'm working out the details, exactly how I want to do it. I don't want to just have one prize. I think I'm going to have like a couple different prizes at least to make it a little more interesting. And I will work out the details and get all the merch together. And then we'll discuss that in an upcoming video. But that's it here. Rich from 2RC Productions, just giving you a look at a Wild Willy here. Flip the lights back on real quick for you. And very, very happy with it. And that's it.